We changed breeds, which put the enjoyment back into the sheep, because we've got to the point we were sick of handling the ewes that we'd got, and this has just moved things on again. So the tasks that we'd got to do with them, as you heard, there's certainly James on the end that'll happily sit on a tractor seat for 24 hours a day, is doing sheep work, which prior to it, if he could avoid it, he wouldn't have done. I think in terms of the crate though, I've heard a very good comment from someone, and he says, well, how much was it? And I said roughly where it was, and he went, wow, that's a lot cheaper than a new knee.
Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Nick here, co-founder and CEO of Cotter Agritech, and I'm out here visiting clients of ours who've had a crate now for a while. Based in Buckinghamshire, we're with the Cooks, James, Robin and Richard Cook. So just boys, just to start, if you can just maybe colour in the picture for people in terms of what kind of farming system you run, acreage, stock numbers, breed, just to give people a bit of background.
Yeah, no, of course we can. So we're a family farm scattered over 3 different sites down here, 2 in Bucks, 1 in Beds. Up until 25 years ago, we were a pure Texel flock, lambing indoors, intensive system. We have then graded up. We're using Easycare rams. We'd got all the way down to sort of 750 ewes with the Texels, finding them less and less efficient, more and more work, and so have changed to outdoor lambing, increased the numbers up to 2,000 scattered over the 3 farms now. So some of the grass, such as we stood on, is permanent grazing because it has to be. It's got ancient features and bits and pieces like that. We've got flood meadows near us as well. The rest of the grass we're rotating around the arable crops, so as to increase the efficiency of that and decrease not worms, but helps. Weed burden on certain fields and things as well. Between the 3 farms, which are scattered over a 40-mile radius, we total 1,450 acres. Because of the ground we house all the ewes during some of the winter months, we're on predominantly a clay loam on top of either blue or yellow clay, and we flood. So the ewes are housed. Then they come back out in the spring, hopefully a spring, March time into April to lamb. 15th, 20th of April onwards, outdoor lambing, minimal interference, leave them as free to get on it as possible.
In terms of what kind of handling system you had and why you went out in the market looking for something to make life easier, in terms of how were you doing jobs before?
So our handling system before was very intense and not the easiest, because you were always in the pen with the sheep and it was quite hard on the legs and joints. So now we have a Cotter Crate. It's much more easier on the body and more efficient.
There's a number of sheep handling systems out there. I'm sure you looked at the range of them. What made the Cotter Crate Sheep+Lamb Handler come to the top of that list, I suppose? What were your considerations?
What sold it to us was actually the fact that all the crates I've been working with, the sheep's feet remained in contact with the ground. And if you want to stop a lamb, a sheep, a dog, a piglet moving anywhere, you get their feet off the ground. They can't get a grip on anything, they don't try and climb and chase. And so, having looked around at various other bits of kit, we were very, very near to considering a conveyor, because the principle of their feet coming off the ground, it was there. But we hadn't got the weighing facility, we hadn't got the independence of it running in a pen without a power pack, and to be fair, the overall cost. So seeing a demonstration of one of your crates on a stand one day kind of got us thinking that was the route we were going to go.
And just on the crate now, I suppose you have it now, I suppose, for the bones of 2 seasons. What are you finding are the benefits? And maybe, I know you initially bought it for X purpose, but is there any surprises with it, or are you getting more utility out of it than you initially thought?
Yeah, we use it for a lot more jobs than we thought. We thought we'd only use it for bolusing, maybe tagging, whereas now we use it for everything, weaning. We even draft male and female fattening lambs apart as we go, and then wean the ewes at the same time. And it's so much easier than it used to be. Weighing lambs as well, and if you want to split them accordingly, depending on their weight, you can as well.
And say just we can see from, I suppose, the bit of drone footage kind of how sheep are flowing through the unit. I suppose, would you say you're getting good flow, and is there certain features on the unit that you find are really helping flow in terms of where the design is aiding that?
Yeah, it used to be a one-person job, but it used to be a long job and take days. Whereas now we put two of us at the job, but one of them's keeping the sheep like in the handling pens, keeping them coming, and then one person on the crate, and then if there's another spare hands, one person on the bolusing guns or tagging, filling up the tagger. But most of the time we just put two of us at it, but it takes half the time. At the end of the day, your body feels like you've done nothing really at all. So it's just, yeah. Well, I actually enjoy using it, whereas I used to prefer getting in a tractor, whereas now I'll do both because it's enjoyable.
I think I'll confirm that, to be fair. I've got two boys that one particularly likes the tractor work, one likes the sheep work, because the job is now enjoyable to do, because they're not aching, they're not fighting sheep's heads in a pen, getting battered around. The two of them actually end up working together with the dogs and saying, right, we're going to do a specific task today. Both work together and get high numbers of stock through in a day's session of using the crate and the race. And feeling okay after it. I've had those days when I've stood in a pen of 12, 15 lambs, dosing them, a head goes underneath, you pull them up, it hurts your back. You turn around and look at the next 1,000 behind you and go, oh my word. Whereas now they are doing it. And all right, often, so I use the crate for tagging sheep and do it on my own. We are tending to go, right, tomorrow we're doing this, and all set together and bash all the sheep through in one hit, and put two of us in the pen and do it. But it'll happily work with one and a good set of dogs. Once the sheep have been over that crate a few times. As an example to the design, this year for the first time we actually used the input race, because we could adjust the size of it. We used it to go into the scanning crate. So the scanning crate that a friend of ours brings down, we tied it, we put it on blocks, but we made it fit. The sheep recognised the blue sides, the open sides, and they definitely flowed into the scanning crate easier than usual, because that's often a long, hard day. Yeah. So there's something, sheep like climbing, or most animals will climb, so they'll climb up onto the deck. I am pleasantly surprised that, having been on the deck, clamped in it when the trapped floor opens, that the next time the sheep comes up there, it looks at the floor and it's happy to step on it again. Because I have to admit, I thought they might come up a week later and go, last time we went through that trapdoor. They're happily flowing up onto it. Now, whether it's the colours, it's a relatively open design.
Yes.
The sides are quite shallow. You can get a really thrifty yearling Easycare that can go flighting out the side, but it is unusual. And I think that's a pleasant compromise as to the flow of them up and over and through it. So yeah, and the more they go over, the more readily they're happy to go through it. So yeah, no, it's a pleasant surprise, to be fair.
Robin, might get your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I just really enjoy using it, and the more time the sheep go through it, the better they flow through it overall.
The ramp as well, with those little kick bars that they just brush their feet through, but they're non-return. So that, if you get them set at the right height, they just can't run back on you. So it just sort of, it's not just a ramp; it stops them going back. And once they get used to that as well, they spring straight through them. And if they slightly spook as you're doing something on the crate, they don't go flying back with their mates. So that's quite good, yeah.
And what we were using before, we couldn't do two animals at once. With this, I can have two animals in there and do it even more efficiently.
With the lambs, yeah.
With the lambs.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to run two through at a time? Because it's something that I suppose we as designers didn't really think about it. We're used to performance recording sheep, so we're catching one at a time. Who is credited with that particular idea?
I think, to be fair, it's probably a bit of a combination of all of us. I think the boys suddenly realised that two lambs would fit in there. Obviously, it doesn't lead itself to weighing, and we obviously realise that. If you're going to weigh them and do things like that, it's individual. But in terms of output, like today, if two in there, and I mean, Robin and I, to be fair, in the past have bolused, and I think we were ear notching or tagging lambs, and we've gone in there and one of us has bolused, move along, bolus the next one while the person behind her, and they just rotate around in a circle, put the next two in. It's not double the output, but two of us are there doing two jobs on the sheep. Joint idea, I think that was. I think we realised two would fit, basically.
2 lambs are perfect, and I'm quite impatient, and I just thought, oh, I'll see if we can get more output. But yeah, if you're just bolusing or something, it's quite handy. And what speeds it up as well, I think, is the how they exit. Obviously, you let them out the chute at the bottom, and you only have to release it gently, and they fall gently to the floor. But because of you don't act like in the other squeezes I've used, they go from a standstill, and then you've got to shoo them on to get them moving again. Whereas this, you choose when they're going out the crate, and they just drop gently down to the floor and off they go, and then straight as soon as the drop door's shut again, the next one's straight in. So that's why I think it gains the speed, is the exit speed.
And say, to give a sense of the output, like kind of you're running numbers through it today, what kind of numbers have gone through it in a day, or what would be your high in terms of output? Who's been setting records?
Someone has been.
I know, like this batch of ewes here, there's 400 ewes and just over 600 lambs, and we did them in an easy afternoon.
Just wondering as well, you're setting up in a couple of different sites. The mobility side of it, like we can see on the unit, you guys have got the hand wheel kit, so all the three pieces can move around. The ramps are fairly light. There's a bit of weight in the crate, admittedly, but can you give people a sense how you're managing without a trailer, a dedicated trailer for it, how you're managing to move it around between different sites?
Yeah, we make it work because it's very easy to move and it doesn't take long at all. Even to the point where my neighbour asked me to go and help him bolus some ewes down a race, and I said yes, as long as I could bring the Cotter Crate, as otherwise I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, I can sort of follow along with that a bit, because initially, I mean, even over 2,000 ewes, I looked at the initial cost of it, and it's like, at the time I thought it's only going to get used a couple of times a year. Bolusing mostly, maybe tagging. And to be fair, I thought it was quite a big lump. You know, I'm 30 odd mile away over in Bedfordshire with only a third of the flock, and didn't think that we'd be moving it there that regular, you know, to do work. There's two things have come from it. A, we're using it to do a lot more jobs than what we thought we were going to. So that cost has got scattered over more tasks. I have a bonus because I've got two boys that now enjoy working sheep, which I was getting involved with a lot more sheep work, which wasn't doing me a lot of good in the pens. And in terms of moving it, I don't like lifting and moving things. Back, hips really start to hurt if I do. I can manage to move it around and set it up. If I can get a loader nearby, I will do. I perhaps can't. We've got a ramped Ive Williams trailer. I can't get it up into that on my own, but I can happily get it out of it, set it up and start using it, which I say for quite a big unit was a pleasant surprise. But as you say, the input and input ramps and that, they're easily adaptable to whatever we do. They're light enough to do. So yeah, so no, it's more movable than what we thought it was going to. I feared it was going to be not a one-trick pony, but out of our three sites, it was going to be on the site with the most sheep.
Yes.
But we move it to do a single job now, as he said with his neighbour and that. So yeah, and there's two reasons for that. A, it's manoeuvrable, and it's making the job so much better. So that's you make the effort to move it because you enjoy using the crate to handle and do that job. So you move it, you make it work.
I was just going to say that we get in a rhythm of where it's going to go in each handling yard, because our handling yards are concrete walls and concrete floors, and basically now where the drenching pen used to be, we've flattened the walls either side, and the Cotter Crate gets banged straight in the middle, and we know roughly now where it's going to be, and we've made our pen suit the Cotter Crate, and then yeah, we load it up in the Ive Williams and off it goes to the next site, and you can load it up in a few minutes and away you go. And yeah, once you know where you're placing it, then it's away and ready to go, and you just set it up in no time again.
And just in relation to, I suppose, the ease of use, I suppose it operates quite differently to some of the other units that people may be used to using. How have you found getting used to using the unit? Was it relatively quick to get going with it and kind of learn it?
Yeah, so I've used several of the other sort of squeezes, and they're usually set up in a race, and you've usually got to be pretty quick. So when particularly a strong ewe, or even the lambs, are coming down a race, If you're going to grab that animal, most of them haven't got a gate unless you add a gate after it. So you've got to be quick. So if you haven't squeezed and held them quick enough and you've got the front end out, they're off, they're gone. Particularly our tough little buggers are. When there's 90 odd kilo a yo with all its feet on the ground, it's off. And when I was first using it, I mean, the boys might say different in a second. I was very, it's coming up on the deck. I must push the bar in now and squeeze it and get it quick before it's gone.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And you don't. After a while, you quickly learn that you don't need to rush. It walks up and onto it. If you're holding everything in that squeeze, you leave the end gate down. They gently go up onto it. When you're ready, you lean on the padding with your knees, and it's shut. And then once it is in there, well, you can step away, and the sheep is still gripped there and not thrashing around and jumping around. Most of the others I've used, if you wanted to leave one there, you've either then got to put a latch in or other means of securing them, and they're still jumping and thrashing about. You're still needing to hold their head, really. So no, the whole process gets calmed down a lot from my experience of other similar, other types of squeeze.
I also like how easily adjustable everything is. So like the ramp up to it, you can adjust the width of it to suit whatever sheep you're putting through it, or the height of the non-return gates to again suit the size of the sheep going in it, or the when it will drop the floor out depending on how far it's pushed across. It helps hold the animal exactly where you want it.
You got we've adjusted, like, play around with the backboard, moving that in or out, and then on the end you've got that dial, the dial on the end which you tweak accordingly. And like with these lambs today, it was on the smallest with the board right in, and it was keeping the lamb at a nice sort of working height, so you weren't having to bend down, and which it sounds lazy, but it all adds up to your general health and that, and it just again makes it easier, and it's quicker because it's straight there at the right height. And then like if you're trying to squeeze ewes and lambs at the same time, then you have to tweak it a little bit. But you get to learn it, to be fair, and you just put it where you know, and then it straight away works. And then you can get a compromise where they're squeezed at the right height for ewes and lambs at the same time. So a ewe will come in, and she comes in, you squeeze her in, and she's at a nice height, and you do what you need to do to her, drop her out, and then a lamb will come in, and that'll still squeeze it up, and that'll still be at a nice height. So yeah, the way it works for ewes and lambs at the same time is unreal. Whereas the other ones we've used, different brands, you've had to just put ewes through or just put lambs through. There weren't no sort of in between. So that's been the biggest, another big advantage. Yeah, yeah.
And because you can adjust the width on the ramp, it means you haven't got animals turning round on you, which tended to happen quite a lot before with the old system. So then they're pointing the direction to go.
Yeah, they can't turn them.
Yeah.
And just on the range of sizes that you've put through the machine, like how small a lamb, in terms of if you were to guess the weight, have you stuck in? And then when we go to the other extreme, how big of a ewe or a ram have you put through the unit as well?
Yeah, so from a month old upwards, it'll happily hold them. The rest of the year, we've got ewes ranging from yearlings in the sort of 50, 60 kilo bracket, genuinely up to about 95 kilo. Big ewes are going through. It's as the boys have described, they've weaned through it, so there's ewes going through there. Some of the ewes we're rearing singles, they're fat and fit in the summer by then. You know, you've got, by that time, a 80 odd kilo ewe with a 30, 35 kilo lamb. Happily, there might be some 20 kilo lambs getting in there. They're all held at the same time with that compromiser settings. So yeah, it's that's a big bonus on it, gripping all the different sizes as they're going over if you want to. Like today we weren't, we were just shooting the ewes straight over the top. But normally we would be gripping both ewes and lambs on the same time at the same operation, which is a big bonus.
And just, I suppose, on a closing note, guys, to people out there maybe considering investing in better sheep handling facilities, what would you say to them in terms of the Cotter Crate? Is this something that you'd recommend?
Yeah, it's definitely something I'd recommend. Also, as you've perhaps heard, we changed breeds which put the enjoyment back into the sheep, because we got to the point we were sick of handling the ewes that we'd got. We changed the breed, so we got a breed that we're happier with and we enjoy the breed, and this has just moved things on again. So the tasks that we'd got to do with them, as you heard, there's certainly James on the end that'll happily sit on a tractor seat for 24 hours a day, is doing sheep work, which prior to it, if he could avoid it, he wouldn't have done. I think in terms of the crate though, I've heard a very good comment from someone, and he says, well, how much was it? And I said roughly where it was, and he went, wow, that's a lot cheaper than a new knee. And I think that does go without saying, because you can handle them all day. If I get jarred on my legs one bang from a yo during the day, that will hurt for 3-4 days the following week. And you don't, you know, I'm more likely to trip over something else instead. So yeah, so no. So yeah, on that basis, we're recommending it for that reason alone. I've got someone that was hoping to see us today, for instance, and she wants to increase her sheep numbers. Her father-in-law says, yes, you can increase the sheep numbers, but you need something to handle them with, because you can't handle them, because you'll hurt yourself handling more sheep. Knowing the numbers we're putting through, she wants to see it working, and yeah, we'll do shortly. And yeah, looks as though the crate will be the reason that she'll increase her sheep numbers.
Yeah, I'd be lost without it now, to be honest. We're going to make it fit in and do more and more with it, hopefully.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's made me enjoy the sheep work. I honestly got to the point where I was doing anything to get away from it, whereas now if I can get on it and use it, I'd happily stand there all day and use it. And just for the fact that it's, again, going back to the easy to use, but it is easy to use, and the most physical part about it is literally sliding it in and doing whatever operation you need to do to the animal and then let it go again. It's pretty easy. I'd have another one tomorrow, yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Thanks very much, guys, for taking the time to chat with us. Look out on our YouTube channel. We have more of these customer client visits going out over the next couple of weeks. And thanks for watching today's video.